Today we're going to talk about passive design of buildings and what that means for us as humans and for the environment. Now, the first thing we need to think about is how we use buildings as our habitat, and they act to control what we want from the environment and how we experience the indoor condition. So the building is very, very important in providing a barrier between what's available externally in the environment and what we want inside. Now, the environment is very variable by nature, the temperature, the amount of light, wind, and all of those sorts of things. Whereas inside, we really prefer very stable conditions, so comfortable temperature ranges, even amounts of light, and comfort in the sense of fresh air as well, of course, too. So the building is very important, and this varies quite significantly depending on the climate that you're in. So the way we would design a building for a tropical climate is going to be focused on emphasizing breezes and shade and things like that. Whereas in an alpine environment, we might be focused on sunshine and keeping the heat within the building. So passive design in buildings becomes a bit of a balancing act in managing heat, cool, light, and fresh air. And I should point out that, of course, we don't get it right all of the time. And in those situations, we use artificial services like electric lighting or heating or cooling to achieve the comfort that we require inside. So the balancing act is therefore very much based in the building itself. We're looking at things like window performance and window sizes, the amount of insulation, the orientation of the building, and other important things as well, like the way we use the building. So even a very, very highly performing passive design building can need a lot of energy input if it's not operated correctly. That might include things like putting blinds down, opening windows, or adjusting the internal conditions for things like lighting and the maximization of fresh air. A really practical example of passive design for buildings is thermal mass. Now, thermal mass is heavyweight materials that are included in the building construction, the most common of which is probably either concrete or bricks. Now, the way thermal mass works to benefit our internal comfort is by storing and releasing heat energy. So during the day, in a house as an example, the sun shines in the window, warms the air, warms the floor, and the concrete in the building will absorb that heat, itself warming up very slowly. As the day turns to night, the concrete is still warm and it re-radiates heat back into the space during the nighttime. So that example, as you can see, is a bit like how a battery works by being charged and then using its energy as well later on. The principle of thermal mass is very important in climates like Victoria, where we are, for the difference between the day and the night temperatures. So passive design is about using the design of the building to take advantage of the external conditions, heating, cooling, lighting, and fresh air, to provide internal comfort for free and with limited impact on the environment as well. Now, this is really quite a challenge in design. It's different in different climates, different sites have different requirements as well, and it means that passive design has to be customized to those requirements in every case.